Hello everybody, my name is Super SP and welcome back to another stream. Today we're back with some more Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. In the last part, we found out that, well, it was directly after the second trial, and we did the free time where you got closer to Maki. Maki is now training with us at nighttime with Kaito. And Angie died because of someone. They were trying to resurrect someone that was already dead. Didn't work out too well because she died, but... So now we are here and about to do the investigation. So we'll see how that goes. Let's get into it. Alright, as always, let's investigate the body first. Angie's body. She's lying face down in the middle of the room.
What's wrong?
Are you going to take a closer look? Yes, I was planning to.
Got a minute?
Then let's hurry up and do it. We can't afford to waste any time here. Maki didn't hesitate. She stepped past me and walked over to the body. She has no problem with dead bodies. She is the ultimate assassin. Body. There's blood dripping from Angie's head. According to the Monokuma file, she sustained a stab wound to the back of the neck, as well as a laceration on her forehead.
I knew it.
The killing blow was a single stab to the back of the neck, a sneak attack most likely.
Well,
Then what do you make of the wound on her forehead? Maybe the culprit hit her in the head before stabbing her from behind. But her two wounds are substantially different. Did the culprit change weapons mid-attack?
Oh yeah.
I suppose that would be unnecessary.
remember,
Also, the wound on her forehead looks deep, but it's not bleeding much. What is going on with these two wounds?
Huh?
What's wrong, Maki?
Got a minute?
Move. Maki pushed me aside, then lifted Angie's body up by the shoulder.
Is this...
What's this doing crumpled underneath her body?
What is it?
This is duct tape, right? What's duct tape doing here? I don't know, but it must be related to the case. Look, there are hairs stuck to the tape. Long hairs. Angie's, right? Bloody duct tape with Angie's hair on it. What could that mean?
but
I'm surprised you spotted this, Maki. It was hidden under her body.
So what?
It was partly visible. As a detective, you should have noticed it before I did. Well,
okay.
that's true. Well, even so, I guess you're still getting used to being around dead bodies. So don't beat yourself up over it.
okay.
Well then, it's a good thing you're used to corpses, Maki.
Did you want to die?
Sorry, joking. I couldn't resist.
Got a minute?
You don't need to apologize. I was joking too. That didn't sound like a joke though. Okay, the book. Necronomicon. This book. The instructions for the resurrection ritual are written in the Necronomicon. By performing the ritual as written, you can resurrect one deceased victim.
I knew it.
This was the motive. The Necronomicon.
Hey,
Angie tried to perform the ritual written in this book, right?
Okay.
Yes. If we look at this book, we should learn at the steps of the ritual she was trying to perform. Let's take a look. The Necronomicon Resurrection Ritual. Prepare an effigy of the dead soul you wish to contact. Everyone may participate. The size and shape of the effigy is irrelevant. Make it out of whatever materials you wish. If it's not obvious who the effigy is supposed to be, label it with the name of the deceased. After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times. Then close your eyes and wait. After a while, you should feel a light tap on your back. If so, that means the ritual was a success. The ashes are only good for one use. The ritual can only be performed once, so use it wisely. So these are the steps for the resurrection ritual.
this is stupid.
Angie really believed in this crap? It's pretty obvious that you wouldn't be able to resurrect anyone with this. Under normal circumstances, I'm sure that's true. But in this place, I don't think we can rule anything out. Okay. I want to know why she's stabbed. The 4 effigies hung upside down makes the scene particularly eerie. Ropes are dangled from the exposed beams on the ceiling.
If I remember correctly,
Angie made all these wax figures.
Hey,
Is this rope from the warehouse?
you're right.
I believe so, and that means they won't be much of a clue. Anyone could have gone and gotten these ropes. Maybe the student council should have blocked the warehouse instead of the manhole. The warehouse does contain plenty of things that can be used for murder. Anyway, I know that these effigies are wax, but it still creeps me out.
that's true.
The effigies look exactly like real people, not just their faces, but their bodies too. The ultimate artist certainly was talented.
By the way,
Why is the effigy hanging upside down? Is this a part of the ritual? I'm not sure.
what is it?
If it's not, then why is it like this? Who would go out of their way to hang a wax effigy? Right. If they're going to do this much work, there must be some reason for it. What could it be? Who would do this? The culprit? Angie? Or someone else entirely? I still want to know why Kaede is stabbed with a sword. Angie made, but why they hung up? Another purpose. Supplies there was a reason behind it. What was the reason and who did it? The culprit? Okay. Is that it? Seems so.
Why?
A murder at nighttime is strange. Impossible even.
Why?
Why do you think that?
Right.
Because student council made rule that we no can use outside during nighttime. Everyone should have been asleep. No way murder could have happened at nighttime.
You.
Do you really think everyone would go along with that rule?
But
But it Atua's rule. Angie say he punish us if we not follow his rules. But the student council wasn't included in that, correct? They could do whatever they wanted. Angie was also working here at night. She was?
but
No way. Student council would never break own rules.
right.
They should have been asleep in own rooms to set good examples to others. Maybe Angie got attacked while she sleep in her room and brought up here?
Gonta.
So
idiot.
Gonta could have saved her if only Gonta saw. But Gonta was sleeping. Sorry, Angie. Gonta no could save you. I find it hard to believe that no one went outside, in spite of the student council rule. I mean, we did. I'm not sure if it's okay to say this or not, but could Tenko be the culprit?
Huh?
Tenko? It's not like I have proof or anything, but earlier I heard Himiko say that Tenko was trying to betray the student council.
No.
So you suspect Tenko?
Actually.
Because as a member of the student council, she would have been allowed into this lab.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, Angie did allow members to the student council to enter her lab.
Ah.
Angie said had been shut away here working on the ritual by herself since yesterday. She said she would only unlock the door if she heard a student council member's voice.
That's true.
That would certainly point to Tenko. She did betray the student council after all.
No.
It's not like I want to suspect Tenko, but since only student council members would have been let in here, so Angie only let in student council members. That would be Gonta, Kibo, Himiko, Tenko, and Tsumugi. Of that group, Tenko is certainly the most suspicious. But remember what... Didn't Angie say that she wasn't a part of the student council anymore? Alright, Mew. This busty brainy beauty has figured all this out.
Huh?
You mean you know who the culprit is?
What was that?
The culprit? Fuck that.
Hey.
Shuichi, do we really want to have the time? Do we really have the time to be listening to her? Wait, goddammit. Are you just gonna ignore my genius idea? Just listen to me, okay? Come on, listen to me. Listen.
Okay.
Okay. Well, if you're gonna twist my arm, then I'll tell you. You better thank me for this.
You know.
I know y'all are dumber than fleas, but even you gotta know how weird these wax dolls are, right? They are strange. Are they supposed to be for a ritual or another purpose?
Well then.
But I figured it out at one glance. These are diversions.
Could it be?
Diversions?
Listen up.
The culprit used these wax dolls to distract us from something.
Got a minute?
What do you mean by that?
What?
How should I know? Isn't that Sherlock Holmes' job?
I knew it.
You're a waste of time. Maki turned and walked away. I can't say I blame her.
What was that?
The hell's her problem? She on the rag or something? So Angie made these wax dolls, huh? Wax dolls, huh? The resemblance is pretty uncanny. They say the devil's in the details, you know. Let's just see how these details really are. Hey! You tried to look up the wax figure skirt.
Hey!
What are you doing? Stop that! What? I just wanted to see if this doll was wearing panties. Do you have a doll fetish? Are you excited that your dead girlfriend is a... No! If you like wax dolls so much, then go fuck the doll already. I'm starting to agree with Maki. Talking to me was a waste of time. You wanna go fuck your dead girlfriend's doll? Jesus Christ.
Hey.
I just wanted to confirm something. When we got to this lab, you're sure that the front door was locked?
Okay.
Yes, I'm positive. I grabbed the knob and tried to turn it. It really is locked.
I knew it.
The front entrance was locked until Kokichi picked the lock to open it. Kokichi pulled out some thin needles and then stuck them into the keyhole of the lock. Click, click, click. Clack. There, open says me. So, he picked this cylinder lock open.
Hey.
Do you think anyone else could have opened this lock besides him?
That's true.
It would have been impossible from the outside. The monocubs took the key. Okay, here it is, but there's only one key, so don't lose it. It'd be bad if you lost it. You wouldn't be able to lock the door or open it from the outside. Let me see that key. Monodome swiped the key from Monophony and then lifted it into his mouth. Nom. He ate it!
Then...
So Kokichi is the one who could have opened or closed the door from the outside, right? Correct. Only Kokichi would have been able to open and close the door from the outside. But someone inside could have opened and closed it as they pleased.
Huh?
So, the front door was locked from inside the room?
No.
Not necessarily. I'm just thinking of possibilities. But in that case, the question becomes how the person who locked the doors got out. How the culprit got out of the classroom after locking the doors. Still things to investigate here. Like what? The back door? This door is the lab's back door.
Is this...
This door has a sliding lock, and it's still locked.
That's true.
And because no one has used this door since we came here, I believe Angie locked this door when she came in, and it's been locked ever since.
Hey.
Wait, what's this? It's the gold leaf stuff. Look, there's something gold and shiny on the tab of the sliding lock. Gold and shiny? Could it be...
Is that alright?
Maki, may I see it for a minute? I want to try moving the sliding lock.
So what?
You want to unlock it? Go ahead, do what you want. I carefully touched the knob of the lock, avoiding the gold parts, and softly slid the lock open.
Okay.
Just as I suspected, this lock will slide without much effort. Whether you lock it or unlock it. This could be an important clue. Still, it's strange that the front door and back door have different locks. The front door that we came in from has a cylindrical lock, and the rear door over there has a sliding lock. But by the time we discovered the body, both doors were locked.
Is this...
In other words, this is what you might call a locked room mystery, right? Locked, huh?
You're right.
Yes, the cylinder lock's key was taken by the monocubs, so both doors could only be locked from the inside. But only if you rule out Kokichi's lockpicking, right? He could have picked the cylinder lock on the front door to go in and out of the lab. So he could have created this locked room mystery. It's possible that he locked the door from the outside by picking it in after he killed Angie.
If I remember correctly...
That's true.
That's right.
Also, he appeared at an oddly convenient time when we tried to enter the lab ourselves.
I knew it.
He's clearly suspicious. It is suspicious, but that solution seems a little too convenient. That it? Nope. Let's check this door. It's unlocked, but I think there's... okay. I have to check each of their dolls? Each of the wax figures? 4 effigies hung up. Why they hung up? Look at Rantaro. Effigies, spokes, beams. The rope. Refugees. Yeah, I mean... Oh, a pool of blood. A small pool of blood has emanated from Aunt Angie's torso. This can be from her forehead. This blood is at the back of her neck.
Is this...
This blood is dry. It must have been spilled a few hours before Angie was killed, maybe more. That fits the 2 a.m. death of time listed in the Monokuma file. Angie's body appears to be exactly as described in the Monokuma file. There were several clues that caught my attention, but I can't draw any conclusions yet. If we think about all the evidence in combination, that might tell us something. Let's continue the investigation for now. Maki, what's wrong?
So what?
It's not that important, but the only time you're reliable is when you're investigating a crime scene. Is that supposed to be a compliment?
Like I'd know.
Who knows? You're certainly more reliable than Kaito, at least. That guy is useless. Anyway, let's continue. Is that everything? There are still things to investigate. Like what? This? A monitor? It's a monitor, communicate. There's nothing on screen, but just seeing that makes me feel sick. I already searched everything on her body, right? Nomicon. Oh, now it'll let me look at the katana. A katana, stabbed into Kaede's wax effigy.
Damn it!
Who did this, and why?
Got a minute?
Let me see. Maki nudged me aside, then gripped the katana and pulled it out of the effigy. Wait, this is a crime scene. You can't...
What is it?
You want to check the katana, right? Well, you can't do that if you don't pull it out.
Because...
True, but we have to preserve the scene. Maki paid no mind to my protest and stared at the katana for a while.
Is this...
It's a real katana, but there's gold leaf on it.
Okay.
I believe it's the one that was on the display in the Ultimate Anthropologist lab. Is that so?
Okay.
We can probably assume this is the murder weapon, judging from the bloodstains on the tip. The edge is too rusty to cut well, but it would be enough to stab. But why would they go through the effort of using this as the murder weapon?
That's true.
Good question. They could have gone to my lab and grabbed a more suitable weapon.
Could it be...
Perhaps it's because Kyo's lab is on the same floor. They just grabbed something close by. They may have been in a hurry.
Well...
Or maybe they needed a long weapon like this.
Huh?
A long weapon?
Okay.
My lab doesn't contain swords or any other weapons of this length.
Huh?
Really?
That's true.
I'm not sure how Monokuma found it, but he must know I don't use swords for work. When I first started working, I botched a mission using a katana. I haven't used a sword since, which is fine, because they're a hassle to carry anyway. I suppose everyone's lab is suited to them personally, just like Angie's was. But how did they know all this? Anyway, the gold leaf in this katana flakes off easily. It's all over my hand now.
Okay.
Must be pretty old for the gold leaf to flake off that easily.
Got a minute?
Why didn't you say so earlier? My hands are all sticky now. I'll have to wash them later. Maki scolded me, then stood in front of Kaede's effigy.
Hey.
I'm going to put the katana back where we found it. If it's too hard to watch, look away.
Okay.
Thank you. I averted my gaze, and Maki stabbed the katana back into the wax effigy.
By the way...
Even so, why was the weapon stabbed into the wax effigy? A hanging wax effigy, no less. Was it part of the ritual? Or was the culprit trying to hide the murder weapon? Perhaps they had no intention of hiding it. They didn't even wipe off the blood. Besides, I'm certain there are better ways to hide the murder weapon than this.
What are you talking
And
about?
what's the reason for this?
That's...
I honestly have no idea.
Well,
We should investigate where this weapon came from. We might find a clue there.
Okay.
The Ultimate Anthropologist Lab. Yes, let's do that. I want to make sure the katana indeed came from that room. Okay. Finish investigating everything for now.
got a minute?
Is this really the time to rest? I don't think we found enough clues yet. We don't know how much time we have left to investigate, so we need to hurry up.
Right.
You're right. First, we should investigate the Ultimate Anthropologist Lab. We may find a clue related to the katana.
That's true.
We need to check if the katana really did come from that place. Is something wrong, Maki?
By the way,
It just occurred to me. Why am I acting like your partner?
sure, whatever.
Well, it's fine. Just don't get used to it. It's not like it's not as if I asked you, but it's fine by me. It's true that Maki is a tremendous help to me. Okay. Time to go to Natsu's lab. Walk, walk, walk. I mean, the sheath is still there. If I remember correctly, the gold leaf katana is from... It's just the sheath. Earlier, the katana was inside the sheath.
Okay.
Monkey, the gold leaf katana definitely came from here. I'm certain of it.
That's true.
Doesn't that make Kyo suspicious? This is his research lab after all.
No.
Not necessarily. Anyone could have come in here and taken it.
That's true.
Fair enough. Anyone could have done the same with my lab too.
Oh?
What are you guys doing here?
You.
What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be helping with the seance? You look so disgusted right now. Then again, I guess that's your signature look. Anyway, I forgot to bring something we need for the seance, so I came back to get it.
Huh?
Something for the seance?
Yeah.
Yep, that white sheet over there. We brought the wooden dog statue in the cage already, but I guess we need that sheet too.
What is it?
I don't get it. Why do you guys need a cage, a wooden dog statue, and a white sheet? Hey, don't ask me. I don't know why we need that stuff either.
So that means...
That's why I figured I'd do a little research on this seance before I got the sheet.
Huh?
Study? Let's see. Kokichi took a look around and... I heard it was like some old handmade book. Jesus, I got something in my throat. Oh, is this it?
Yeah.
It says Cage Dog Village right here on the cover, so this must be it. Let's see, what does it say about the Cage Child Seance? Kokichi flipped through the old book he picked up. Is this the page? I heard it. It's hard to read, but I can see Cage Child mentioned here.
Yeah.
Kyo's drawing the same magic circle as the one in this picture. Okay, let's see. In order to perform the Cage Child, you need 5 people, including the spirit medium, and a dark place with no light.
If I remember correctly...
Just like Kyo said. First, draw the magic circle passed down from the Cage Dog Village on the ground. In the center of the circle, the spirit medium must kneel, curl like a turtle, and rest their forehead on a stone on the ground. Afterward, the 4 participants must put the iron cage over the spirit medium and cover it with a white sheet. And finally, the dog god must be placed on top of the cage.
I see.
Also, it says we can't step on the magic circle during the preparations. The dog god? Do you mean that wooden dog statue?
Yeah.
When preparations are complete, turn out all the lights to create complete darkness. The seance will begin when the 4 participants are standing at each corner of the room. The 4 participants, not including the spirit medium, will sing the Cage Child song. After the song, ask, "Is the cage child?" and then say the name of the spirit. The spirit medium will reply in a voice of the summoned spirit. That's all it says. That sounds complicated.
But...
Complicated plans have a better chance of working out in the end, wouldn't you say? Whether it works or not, Kyo has been wanting to conduct this seance for a while. Since I was fortunate enough to obtain one of these copies, I already have it memorized. But I never thought I'd be able to lay eyes on the real one. What a trick of fate.
Right?
Oh yeah, he said he memorized every word of it too. That's probably why he left the book here, cause he can conduct the seance without it. But is it even possible? Contacting Angie's ghost? If you're so curious, why don't you join us, Shuichi?
Huh?
Huh?
Well, you know.
You should see how it plays out with your own eyes.
See?
There's still time, you know. The seance hasn't even started yet.
That's true.
Maybe it's better if you join them.
Huh?
You think so?
I don't understand.
Well, I'm not going. I don't believe in seances. But whether or not you believe, as a detective, you should be there to observe what happens. As a detective, huh?
Okay.
I think you're right. Now you're talking.
All right.
I'll be waiting for you. Of the 3 empty rooms, we're in the middle one. Kokichi spoke as though he was inviting me to go play, then left the room.
Hey,
You can deal with the seance. I'll head back to the crime scene to re-examine the clues. Okay. Let's see what this seance is about.
Hello.
So, Kokichi tells me you wish to participate in the seance as well, Shuichi. You are most welcome to join us.
Oh.
Is what I would like to say. However, only 5, including the spirit medium, may join. Oh man, what a shame. Well, Keyboy, you're out.
Me?
Why me? I agree with Kokichi. I was thinking this for a while. Robots and seances don't mix. They're like toothpaste and orange juice.
You see.
To be honest, I had the same thought. Your help was appreciated, Kibo.
Why you?
Don't you any of you feel guilty for kicking me out and after forcing me to come? That's why we're apologizing.
Do not mock
No
me.
one's apologized yet.
Oh,
Fine, our bad. Just don't get mad and start shooting electromagnetic waves at us.
how rude.
Why would I do that?
stop it.
Stop whining, Kibo. I want to start the seance as soon as possible. Fine, but I won't forget this betrayal, Shuichi. What did I do?
So then.
So now Shuichi has joined us. First, some warnings.
Do you understand?
Do not enter the magic circle that I've drawn on the floor. It is drawn with purifying salt, so it is easily disturbed when stepped on. You drew this magic circle with salt?
That's correct.
I always use salt for magic circles. It makes seances more likely to succeed.
Well then.
Also, it's dark in here, so be sure you watch your step. If the magic circle is broken, not only will the seance fail,
Terrifying.
but it may also unleash a curse.
Okay.
Got it. I'll be careful. I'm surprised you were able to draw this even without looking at the picture.
Do not worry.
I have the entire document memorized, so this magic circle should be perfect. Of course, I also have the caged child song memorized. You must do the same.
Do you understand?
I have copied the words to the song down here. Please commit it to memory. Everyone else has already memorized it. After all, you'll be unable to read it in the dark.
Huh?
We have to memorize the lyrics now?
Oh.
You're a detective, so I expect your memory to be up to the task. Here is the melody. I listened to Kyo sing the song and did my best to memorize the melody and lyrics.
Okay.
Alright, I think I've got it now. Your memory is extraordinary. You, indeed, the ultimate detective.
Well then.
Let us begin the ritual right away.
How exciting!
We finally get to see Angie.
So then.
Before that, let's choose a spirit medium. It would be best with a girl. Then I'll do it. I can't think of anyone but me that Angie's spirit should go in.
No.
I'll do it. Because if you're the spirit medium, you won't be able to talk to Angie.
Yeah? That's right.
You want to talk to Angie, right? Then I'll be the spirit medium. That way, you can say goodbye to her. And after you finish saying your goodbyes, keep your chin up and live life facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
Please.
Tenko. Also, Himiko, let me say this one thing. Expressing your feelings is perfectly natural. You shouldn't feel ashamed at all. So, if you feel like crying while you're talking to Angie, go ahead and cry your eyes out. You'll feel better when you do. Well, I mean, laughing makes you feel better too.
Damn it!
And venting your anger into something can really cheer you up.
Yes!
Train your heart by crying, laughing, and venting your anger, Himiko. I think you've trained too much. You're probably right. It seems like the two of them made up. That's good.
So then...
So now that we've decided on a spiritual medium, let us begin.
Yes!
Alright, Himiko, I'll see you later. Here we go.
Now, I would like spirit medium Tenko to sit within the center circle. Please be sure to walk on the path, so as not to disturb the magic circle.
Make sure you watch your steps since it's so dark in here.
Next, you must be as a turtle within that circle. Please rest your forehead upon this stone marker I've placed here.
It's just a stone I brought from the courtyard. Are you sure it'll work?
Certainly. It is merely needed as a marker for her forehead to rest upon.
Like this?
This may be uncomfortable, but please endure it until the seance is complete. Whatever you do, you mustn't raise your head or change positions.
Piece of cake! I have 5-star flexibility.
Okay.
So then...
Starting now, the rest of us must go to work. There are many things left to be done.
let's see.
First, we must place the iron cage atop Tenko. I shall leave that to Shuichi and Kokichi. And please keep in mind, walk carefully as not to disturb the magic circle.
Yeah.
Okay, you can count on me. I may not look like it, but I'm actually super duper strong.
I shouldn't have lied. I'm way too weak for this kind of stuff.
It's made of iron. No wonder it's heavy.
Hold on! Don't just drop it on top of me!
I know. It wouldn't be very funny if a body discovery announcement happened during this.
Please don't jinx us!
I'm tired. So, next, we cover the basket with a white cloth, right?
I shall take that role. All right. Everything is prepared. Tenko, how are you doing?
Well, I can only see the floor from this position, but I think I'm fine.
The final step is to place the wooden statue of the dog god atop the cage. The four of us may need to do this together. The statue is quite heavy.
Even with 4 people, it's still really heavy.
Oh, holy crap, this weighs a ton!
No, it is not much more than 175 pounds.
Oh, I'm totally wiped.
Could have used my magic to carry it easily, but seances and magic don't.
Yeah, whatever.
Are you sure it's okay to put something so heavy on top of the cage?
The iron cage was made specifically for seances, so it can hold this weight.
Okay. I guess that's fine then.
Now,
Better be fine,
let
you
us
volunteered
exit
for
the
this.
magic circle. Take care to avoid disturbing it. So then,
This is the point of no return. Tenko, after this point, you mustn't speak. The next time you open your mouth, it will be the Angie speaking through you.
Got it!
Understood. I will not say a word until the seance is over. Okay, everyone? I'll see you guys after the seance.
well then,
The rest of us shall move to the corners of the room. Please go to one of your choosing. We each stood in a different corner.
now we darken the room. Kokichi and Shuichi are closest to the candles. Please blow out the candles. You should be able to follow the walls in the dark.
So go back to the corner of the room after it's dark. Okay, got it.
You needn't move, Himiko. There are many gaps in the floor near you.
Yeah, got it.
Once the room is dark, I will begin the song. Please sing along with me. Then, I will call out to Angie. Until she replies, there must be silence.
After the seance is done, Shuichi and I are supposed to light the candles again, right?
Correct. I brought matches from the warehouse, so please use those.
Okie dokie.
Come
Then I'll
prepared,
blow
dude.
out the candle now.
I walked up to the closest candle and blew out the flame. The room instantly fell into complete darkness. Pitch black darkness. So dark I couldn't even see my own body. Overcoming my instinctual fear of the dark, I moved along the wall back to my corner. Then began the singing.
At last,
At long last. Kyo led us all to the caged child song.
Young guard dog and little lost girl, sealed within an iron cage.
This is a bop.
Within the darkness, at long last. How many will there be by dawn? Will there be two or just
I'm just turning on auto for this one part. What?
Will the guard dog run far away, or did it eat the little
What was the thunk?
girl?
Did Tenko fall through the floor?
At last, at long last.
We finished singing the song, but I thought I heard an odd sound in the middle of it. What was that?
Say,
Is the caged child Angie Yonaga? He began calling out. Now if the medium answers.
say,
Is the caged child Angie Yonaga? What's going on?
say.
Is the caged child Angie Yonaga?
What's the matter?
Why won't Angie answer?
Hold on.
I was very clear that you were not to speak, yes? Something's weird. Why won't she answer? Maybe it failed?
Let's see.
Let's light the candles briefly.
Huh?
Is that okay?
Well,
Just for now. Confused, I walked along the wall back to the candle. I managed to strike the match and light the candle once again. Was I right? Did it fall through the floor? She's dead. She is so dead. What's going on? Did it really fail?
that cannot
That
be.
shouldn't be the case. The seance was perfect.
What?
Is Angie not coming? Is that still Tenko in there? Tenko?
I see.
I told her
yes.
that she mustn't speak until the spirit enters her. She follows orders well, but how about we let her out for now?
Hold on.
Dark arts such as this need to be started and completed the same way. Those who remove objects from the magic circle must be the same who brought them in. If not, the spirit may stay in the medium's body.
Man.
Seeing as this was a failure, I don't think any spirit is sticking around, but whatever. I see blood. I very clearly see blood. Just like setting up, Kyo instructed us how to clean everything up. We carefully removed everything exactly in order Kyo directed.
Now, I will remove the sheet.
Kyo pinched the fabric gently and pulled it aside.
Oh,
She dead? Yep, she is so dead.
perhaps.
Something is amiss. Himiko ran toward the cage in a sprint. Himiko, I told you not to step on the... But she wasn't listening. She jumped onto the cage and... Oh, she's speaking. Fueled by desperation, Himiko grabbed the cage, lifted it up, and... Yep. What'd she die from? A body has been discovered.
Really?
Who would have thought there'd be another victim during the investigation? Maybe Monofani's green puke was predicting this tragedy.
Ah!
Oh, the puke color was normal now. I guess it was predicting this.
For now.
Everyone, please assemble in the seance room. The second body discovery announcement played out. It didn't take long for everyone to come running. Tenko! Seriously? What is this? How did this happen? Tenko, Gonta so sorry. Gonta no could protect you.
Got a minute?
Shuichi, explain the situation. I thought you were conducting the seance. What happened?
Well, that's...
I don't know. What's happening?
What on earth?
I'm surprised too. I never thought a murder would have happened during the investigation. I guess for now, you should maybe start the investigation right away.
Say.
Before that, I would like to confirm something. The culprit who killed Angie may be different culprit from the one who killed Tenko, yes?
Huh? If so...
What happens in the event there are two murders by two different people? Oop, what else did he say? What if there are two blackened? Will we need to find them both at the class trial?
That's right.
Now that you mention it, that's a good point. What would happen in that scenario?
Yeah?
What would happen? Monodum, what would happen? What would happen?
Not that!
Why do you look lost too, Monodum? I thought you were gonna run things instead of Daddy. I never expected something like this to happen. I don't know what to do. Really, I don't know. Man, they're all disorganized. If you can't decide the class trial's objective, then we won't know what to investigate. Always knows what to do. We should ask him for help.
No way!
Have you already forgotten? Daddy's in no condition to help us. It's all our fault that Daddy ended up like that.
Yeah?
It's all your fault, Monofani.
Daddy!
Help, we don't know what to do on our own.
Ah!
We gotta use the power of love. That ought to snap him back to normal. But that won't work. Father is just an empty shell now.
That's right!
That's not true. Anything is possible with the power of love. You don't understand that because you've never been loved before, Monodam.
Daddy!
I love you, so please go back to normal. I want to see you, Father. I love you with all my heart. Aw, you're making me blush. I'm back. Were you good while I was away?
Thank you so much, my adorable darling cubs! With you running the academy, I was able to fully enjoy my relaxing vacation!
Oh, that tickles! Father's intense love is
He's
getting me
licking
all
the
so-
doll of himself.
Daddy, your tongue feels amazing! This better not awaken anything in me.
Not even gonna say anything. What was that?
No.
Man, that vacation was just what I needed. It's important to take time off to relax.
To tell you the truth,
Normally, most companies won't even let you take off to go to vacation. But I was able to do it. The secret is just leave whether you get permission or not. Wait, so then, who's this Baldy then?
yeah?
Just a part-timer I got to cover for me while I was gone. Here's your pay, like we agreed on. Now take it and get out of here. I thought we were supposed to be relaxed. Now that nuisance is out of the way, what were you guys talking about again?
Yeah?
That's right. What happens to your votes if there are two blackened candidates?
I'll answer that.
Well, I have an answer for that. It's first come, first serve.
Huh?
First come, first serve?
Hey,
The blackened who killed the first victim will be discovered will be your target. In other words, if the blackened who killed Angie isn't the same one as who killed Tenko, then only Angie's killer will be considered the blackened. Basically, Tenko's killer wasted a kill, and Tenko herself is a waste of a victim.
Now then,
I'll add this to the school regulations so you can review it later.
go ahead.
I also updated the Monokuma file. Do your best to investigate this murder too.
Father!
Boy, everything is going so smoothly now that Father's running things again. Leaders gotta be able to take decisive action. Indecision is just the worst.
Daddy!
You're glowing. You're glowing like a lamp. There's nothing better than being praised by my cute cubs. There's nothing better than spending time with my cute cubs. For as long as you live, I will never let any of you go. He just left us behind while he was saying he'd never let us go.
How nice!
That's why he's so amazing. I'm not saying that.
So long. Farewell.
So, to make sense of all that,
Listen closely.
if both murders have different culprits, then our vote will determine Angie's killer.
Nope.
But if we don't even know if there's a different culprit, do we?
Let's see.
True, we should investigate Tenko's death as well, just in case.
How exciting!
Finally, things are heating up. I'm getting so excited.
Piece of shit!
You fucking psycho.
Shuichi!
This is bad.
Huh?
This is unquestionably bad. I can't believe Tenko was killed. Everyone's upset and confused, and I'm in no shape to help right now.
But you know,
This is where you need to step up.
listen up.
Listen, Shuichi. The impossible is possible. All you gotta do is make it so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then let's check the Monokuma file first. The victim is Tenko. Not even gonna pronounce that. The ultimate Aikido master. The body was found in the middle empty room on the 4th floor. The time of death is approximately 11 a.m. The only visible injury is a stab wound to the back of the head. A stab wound on her neck. It's the same as Angie's cause of death. It doesn't look like a coincidence. Maybe it's Angie's curse? Curse!
Jeez.
God, not again. Curse!
Hey!
What? Curse? Kaito, calm down. No way there's a curse. Don't screw around.
You're the one who's screwing around. Do you want to die?
A dull sound reverberated through the room.
Are you okay?
Kaito, are you okay?
My bad.
My bad, Shuichi. I'm starting to feel bad for a different reason. Oh, it's doing it again. Okay. I'm gonna get some fresh air, so I'll leave this to you and Maki roll. Let the room still a little bit wobbly. Should we resume the investigation? Time is of the essence.
That's correct.
True, we haven't time to mourn Tenko's death, as our own lives are at risk. That's true, but Angie and then Tenko? And to think, earlier, I was suspicious of Tenko. I'm sorry, Tenko.
How can this be?
It all Gonta's fault. Gonta failed to protect friends again. Tenko's death caught us all off guard. Everyone is panicking. I have to keep it together. I have to work harder. Because I'm a detective.
Well,
It's too dark in here. We can't investigate even if we wanted to.
Got it.
Go to bring candles from other room to make this room bright, okay?
No.
No, that won't be necessary.
Ah.
It's not necessary at all.
Huh?
Why? Show him, Kibo. Show him your new power. New power?
His eyes lit up. I'm Yuiruma, the gorgeous girl genius. Have installed a new function in Kibo.
Just leave it to me. I will become the guiding light that shines on you all.
Shine on, shine on! Shine on, you crazy fucking diamond!
Whoa, this room is... What a lame function. You should have made him like a transformer or something.
It's okay.
But it's bright now, so we should hurry to investigate.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Kibo's flashlight function. Why is that necessary? Jesus, this room. There's a board, the board under her. Ah, this floorboard is loose. And it's the one right under Tenko.
Why?
Why is this floorboard loose?
If I remember correctly,
It wasn't like this before. It must have come loose during the seance.
Why?
Why would it come loose during the seance?
But
A floorboard this thick and heavy wouldn't have come loose easily. Then someone must have loosened it on purpose. Tenko's dead body. She took her last breath crouched over like this. According to the Monokuma file, her only injury is a stab wound to her neck. This wound was fatal. This must have caused instant death. I didn't hear a scream during the seance. Wait. Understood. I will not say a word until the seance is over. Would Tenko really keep her mouth shut despite the pain?
Nope.
Her death might not have been instant, but she couldn't have gone far before she bled out.
Huh?
What do you mean?
What's the point?
You were concerned about that, right?
Okay.
With a wound this deep, the victim is too shocked to do anything except die. You're speaking from experience?
That's obvious.
Of course. Quick deaths are my specialty. Well then, that makes sense.
By the way,
The real question is, what was she killed with? I don't see a murder weapon around. You're right. I don't see an obvious murder weapon. That could be a clue. Does she have tape over her mouth? There's a rock next to Tenko's body. This must be... Please rest your forehead upon this stone marker I placed here. It's just a stone I brought from the courtyard. Are you sure it'll work? Certainly, it is merely needed as a marker for her forehead to rest upon. Like this? Tenko had her forehead on this rock, hunched over. She had to make herself so small to fit inside the cage. This is the cage used in the seance.
is this...
It looks to be around 3 feet high and 5 feet wide. It's a pretty large iron cage.
okay.
Big enough for a person to fit inside. During the seance, Kokichi and I covered Tenko with the cage. We were supposed to remove it as well. But it was Himiko who rushed in and removed the cage first.
Hey,
Hey, look at this.
is this...
A bloodstain on the bottom of the cage. Probably Tenko's blood, yeah?
That's true.
Yes, I imagine so. The splatter must have been made when she was killed.
What do you mean?
Which means Tenko was killed while she was inside the cage.
Okay.
I think you're right. Tenko went under the cage before the seance. But when the cage was lifted after the seance, she was already dead.
Then...
If she was stabbed right when the cage was lifted, that would explain this bloodstain, right?
Huh?
Perhaps she wasn't killed during the seance, but the exact moment the cage was lifted. That is a possibility. No, I saw blood beforehand. This board. Hole in the corner. There's a small opening in the corner of the room. It doesn't look big enough for a person to get through, but still.
Is this...
A hole? Looks like there's a space under here too. Oh, hold on. I can see something below. It looks like something dropped down there. Something dropped down there?
Wait a minute.
After we check everywhere else, why don't we go under the floor and see for ourselves?
Okay.
Let's do it. It's the wooden dog statue used in the seance. I believe it's called the Dog God. During the seance, this wooden statue was on top of the cage. It took 4 of us to remove it. This wooden statue is pretty heavy.
If I remember correctly,
Kyo said it was about 175 pounds. That's about the weight of 2 girls.
What?
What do you know about girls? Have you even touched a woman besides your mother? What?
I'm kidding.
Anyway,
Is this...
if this heavy thing was on top of the cage, then Tenko wouldn't been able to get out easily.
Okay.
You're right about that. That didn't sound like you were kidding earlier. Does this have any bloodstains on it? The white sheet we used for the seance. This was placed on top of the cage. Kyo was the one who removed it.
Is
This
this...
cloth is pretty thick. It's similar to a window curtain, but it's completely opaque. And on the back, look, there's a bloodstain on it, right around the middle of the sheet. But no hole in the fabric, which means Tenko wasn't stabbed through this cloth.
Okay.
She was stabbed while under the cloth. Candles hung on the walls. They're the only source of light in the room. There are no windows in this room, so without the candles, it was pitch black. But how did the culprit kill Tenko in complete darkness? From under the floorboard, duh.
Leave it to me.
I will become the guiding light that shines on you all. Okay, what do you have to say about this, Himiko? Himiko! Hey, Himiko! Be strong, Himiko!
Wait,
If you shake Himiko that much, she's going to break. But she not talking. It's like Himiko not even here.
like I thought.
She must have been really shocked over Tenko. Let's leave her for now. Okay. Himiko.
That cannot
Why?
be.
Why did this happen?
I knew it.
Kyo, I know the murder was pretty shocking.
But of course.
Of course, I am shocked about that as well. But why did the seance fail? We performed all the steps flawlessly. He seems more concerned about that than the murderer.
Ah, yes.
If I perform the caged child again and summon Tenko's spirit this time...
This is stupid.
Cut the crap. Just tell me what happened during the seance. Both you and Shuichi were present, right? Did she get killed during the seance?
I see.
True,
yes.
it may be best to move past what happened, to know why the seance failed.
Is that so?
Whatever, just hurry up. At the time, in order to begin the seance, we had Tenko, the spirit medium, position herself as a turtle within the magic circle so her head touched the marker stone. Then Shuichi and Kokichi placed the cage over Tenko. And after that, I placed the white cloth over the cage. Then all four of us played placed the wooden statue of the dog god over atop the cage. Afterwards, we stood in the four corners of the room. Kokichi and Shuichi blew out the candles.
Yes.
Finally, we all sang the caged child song. The seance should have been complete, but now that you mention it, I remember hearing a strange sound during the song. That was pretty loud. It sounded pretty intense. It is a mystery to me as well. I thought someone may have tripped, perhaps. It was a pretty loud sound for someone tripping. Perhaps Kyo knows something.
What do you mean?
And then what happened?
Yes.
We called out to her, but no reply came. I had Shuichi and Kokichi relight the candles. And then we removed all the items from within the magic circle in the opposite order. First, all four of us removed the dog god statue. Next, I took off the white cloth, and then... Himiko ran over to the cage, and the moment she lifted it... Then it sounds like Tenko was definitely killed during the seance.
No.
But would it not be difficult in such darkness? Besides, she was inside the cage, yes? Then when was she killed?
Well, that's...
Yes, that is a problem.
I see, yes.
There is another problem. And that is, why ever did the seance fail? I simply cannot figure that out.
Perhaps.
Maybe someone moved from the corner? Did someone else sneak in here?
What's the point?
Obviously, since the seance was clearly a sham. Maki never was one to pull her punches. Man, what a lame function. You should have made him like a transformer or something. What about Gonta?
Why?
First Angie, then Tenko.
How can this be?
Gonta so ashamed. Why Gonta no could protect friends? Ruined magic circle. Magic circle Kyo drew on the floor. Well, at least it was. It's been completely stomped over. I suppose it was unavoidable.
Well,
Was this drawn with salt?
Yes.
Whenever I perform a seance, I always use salt.
what?
Are you feeling alright? You sound ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous? I have performed many successful seances. Why, I've even had spirits enter my bot.
Right already.
Shut up. I don't want to hear about your stupid delusions. Monkey really doesn't beat around the bush. It's kind of refreshing, actually.
But
In any case, with all those footprints, I can't make out of the original circle.
So what?
We'll find out in Kyo's lab. It should be written in the Cage Dog Village document.
Hey,
Isn't that right, Kyo? He seems depressed. I suppose that makes sense.
hey,
Maki, we finished investigating up here. Perhaps we should check under the floor.
by the way,
It seems pretty dark down there. What should we use for a light?
that's true.
Let's bring a candle. With Kibo's light from up here, that should be fine.
okay.
Then I'll go get the candle. Remove that floorboard so we can go down.
Okay.
Got it. Pulled off some of the floorboards near the hole that took a candle from Maki. Then we carefully made our way through the hole and under the floor. This is a lot more spacious than I thought. You can move pretty easily on all fours.
Okay.
Let's look around for clues.
Well,
It'd look pretty stupid if we looked for no clues, and after crawling around in a dusty place.
Okay.
Yeah. What? This.
Ah,
Look! Part of the cross piece that supports the floorboard is cut off.
that's true.
It's near the loose floorboard, and the portion missing is about the same width too. And from what I can see,
that's true.
it wasn't broken off naturally. This was cut by someone. There should be saws in the warehouse, so they could have used that. The question is, why? Another cross piece is supporting the floorboard, so it might not fall if this portion is missing.
Then,
So what purpose did this serve? The floorboard underneath Tenko's body is loose, and the cross piece supporting it has been cut. If the culprit did all this, then why? Okay. Well, there's this big puddle of blood right here. Blood dripping from the gaps in the floorboards. Fresh blood. This is definitely Tenko's. Dried blood. There's a blood stain on the ground underneath the loose floorboard. But that's pretty far from where Tenko's blood was dripping down. It's under the same floorboard, just at different ends. Why is there blood here?
hey,
The back of this floorboard has blood on it too.
Ah,
You're right. There's a little bit of blood on the underside of this floorboard.
what do you mean?
Did Tenko's blood splatter here when she got killed?
that's true.
I wonder. I can't really be sure yet.
Okay.
But these blood stains here are completely dry. There must be some reason these particular stains are dry. There's something over to the left that I saw. Oh, a sickle. I was like, a hoe? There's a sickle here, and there's blood all over it.
Okay.
The blood on the sickle is fresh. This is it. This is the murder weapon.
Is this?
This came from my research lab.
Huh?
It did?
Well,
A sickle can be used to assassinate a target. It can be thrown without losing any lethality, and you can hide it under your clothes too.
Well,
If she was attacked with this, she wouldn't stand a chance. The blade is about 6 inches,
that's right.
and since Tenko was in the cage, she wouldn't have been able to defend herself.
but
But even if this is our murder weapon, how did the culprit attack Tenko in the cage? The blade could fit through the gaps in the cage, but would it reach her neck?
That's true.
The cage is 3 feet high. If you were to stab it through with a 6-inch blade, it would depend on Tenko's posture, but I don't think it's impossible. And her posture is the question.
Hey,
If the weapon is down here, the culprit must have thrown it away, right?
That's true.
Perhaps after killing Tenko, the culprit threw the sickle under the floor in the dark. Or they could have been under the floor the entire time. Either of those is the possibility. Some of the wood has corroded and is broken off, so you can see into the next room. This is the wall of the empty room, right? It looks like there's wood along the wall. This part is rotted away. It looks like natural rot. This hole wasn't made intentionally. But I can get into the next room through here.
That's true.
If I remember correctly, the room next door was also empty, right? Then the culprit could have gone from room to room by moving under here instead of using the hallway.
No.
True, but it would have been difficult to moving around under the floor. We did alright because we had a light. Without that, it'd be pitch black. That might make it impossible to move around in there.
Nope.
Then they could have used a light like we're using right now.
Well,
True. They used a light to move around on the floor? Is that possible? I think we finished investigating here.
is that all right?
Maki, you want to head back up? Glad you asked. I was starting to get fed up with all this dust. After Maki and I crawled out from under the floor, we put the floorboards back and returned to our investigation. Huh.
By the way,
We've only been investigating this room. You sure that's wise?
Huh?
What do you mean?
because
If Angie and Tenko have different killers, then the black end we need to vote for is
You're right.
the culprit who first murdered the culprit who killed Angie. That's what Monokuma said.
then
So instead of investigating Tenko's death, shouldn't we be investigating Angie's?
Okay.
Yes, of course.
But
But this is bigger than the killing game. For the sake of the two have died, I need to reveal the truth of both their deaths. I understand why you feel that way. But if you plan on investigating the other crime scene again, we should probably hurry. What if we check out the other rooms? When I came to the hallway, a scene more surprising than I could ever imagine unfolded. This is fake. That's gotta be... I was about to say... Did I surprise you? Were you gonna scream and cry in terror?
huh?
What are you doing?
Oh?
Sorry, I'm just a little lightheaded from the bloodlust. Yeah, this is real blood.
Why?
So what are you doing? I got curious about something, so I decided to search the empty room next door. Then suddenly, I stepped through the floorboard.
Huh?
You stepped through a floorboard?
That's so mean.
Jeez, that got me good, cause of this, I tripped and fell pretty hard.
got a minute?
If you're going to lose consciousness, do it after you tell us everything. Sorry, my bad. Then I guess there was no crosspiece supporting the floorboard, so I kinda stepped through. What bad luck. The crosspiece was gone. Does that mean... Dong bang! Oh, really? That's it?
Confidence, dreams. That's what the killing game is all about. Killing game fans, hold your head high and watch with your own two eyes. Baseball, soccer, mobile games, they're all nothing compared to the killing game. The killing game just can't be beat. Behold, students, the entrance to the trial grounds.
We have nothing. I guess time's up.
Oh.
Man, it's cause of you guys. I didn't have enough time to check something.
Huh?
What were you trying to check?
See?
I wanted to research the seance again, so I brought this document with me. But unfortunately, I couldn't find anything new that could be used as a clue. Akio perfectly reenacted the seance as what was written in the document. He drew his magic circle the exact same way as in this picture. Not only that, he used the same exact tools too. Nothing suspicious about this whole thing. Well, I wanted to check the finer details, but I'll tell you about it later. At the class trial, so see ya there. Kokichi left, the blood loss clearly affecting his footing a bit. Let's go too.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. Is Maki nervous? I see. So even she gets nervous sometimes.
Do you want to
What are you staring at? Do you want to die? That's the wrong way. I still love it. Just, I knew he was faking it. But even then he's laying on the ground and he just pops up. It was a lie! Probably ruined that moment. Should have just listened, but still. Okay. Yeah, like I said, we basically have nothing evidence-wise. Well, we have a lot of evidence, but we have very few evidence for Angie's case, which is the one we need to solve. Wrong way. Here we go. Run, 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 run. Meow. Meow. Here we go.
Oh dear.
It would appear we have all gathered, but it seems there are less and less of us.
Oh.
Less friends mean that much harder to solve mystery.
Don't worry.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure you've gotten a little smarter by now, Gonta. Yeah, Gonta do his best to help. I'd want to graduate you from super idiot level to at least Kaito idiot level. What's that supposed to mean?
Are you okay?
More importantly, are you okay, Kaito?
Ah.
I'm feeling better now. But wow, Maki Roll sure does pack a punch.
I don't know.
It's your fault. You don't need to worry about our dwindling numbers. Only dipshits have died so far.
That being said,
I know it's a tall order, but try to use your brains this time and so I don't have to use mine.
booyah!
These golden brain cells of mine are a gift to the entire world.
Unacceptable.
It's as though every time you open your mouth, you become less likable.
Rest in peace.
Atua, please. Please lend us your power.
But
It may be difficult for us to rely on Atua, considering what happened to Angie, whom Atua loved most of all.
well, you know.
She shouldn't have relied on Atua in the first place. But seriously, it's kind of funny seeing a robot believe in a god, especially Atua.
I also.
So what? Robots can believe in gods.
Indeed.
Actually, before I even met Angie, I had a similar experience. Hearing voices, I mean. You might call it an inner voice. It tells me what I do whenever I'm in trouble.
Got a minute?
How long are you going to say that for? Atua and ghosts don't matter right now.
Jeez.
The trial this time was gonna be rough. We got caught in Monokuma's trap.
Huh?
His trap?
That's right.
He probably made the fourth floor so scary on purpose to prevent me from investigating.
Oh, right already.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Hey, so
Shuichi, say something.
Huh?
What should I say? I really don't like that statue. I'm gonna say it every time. Every game always has 2 deaths in a murder case. As usual, we walk toward the elevator in silence. As soon as we remaining survivors stepped aboard. We descended. Perhaps because there were fewer of us, the elevator seemed to move faster. And so we fell, faster and faster, downward into the black. The elevator stopped, and just like always, the doors parted slowly. The light that shines on us from the other side, the bright light of our future. Where is it?
Uh-oh.
boy, they all look really depressed. Must be because there are even less participants now. Don't say they look depressed. You'll make Monodom sad. As much as I love to keep hearing this adorable back and forth, let's hurry up and get this started. At last, the class trial will begin. I hope you enjoy it to your heart's content. The third class trial was about to begin. Angie Yanaga, the ultimate artist. She created the Ultimate Academy Student Council to try and prevent the killing game. Then Tenko Shabashira, the Ultimate Aikido Master. She hated men, but I knew that she hated this terrible killing game even more. The two who were killed were both trying to stop the killing game. And who was the one who killed them? Was it one person? Two different people? We need to pin that down to in this class trial. In order to live, we have to find the truth. And I will fight for it. I will fight for the truth and I will fight with truth and lies in this classroom. In this class trial. Jesus Christ, I messed that up. You want to save? Yes, I would like to save. Saving is something I would like to do. Boom. Okay. Slightly increase the time limit in each phase. Shake less, yes. That's what I wanted. I'm assuming there's nothing with 2. Oh, downshift and upshift. Slows the speed of the reticle. Effective during those. Sure, why not? There we go. Alright, let's go. Down. No one cares, Monokuma.
Now, smiles, everyone.
Sorry, everyone. I don't think I'm gonna be much help this time. Because of Monokuma's disruptions, I couldn't do a thorough investigation.
Shut up, Kaito.
I can tell Monokuma is overcompensating to hide his self-consciousness.
Next time, spend less time fixing your hair and more time investigating, spaceman.
Shut up! I don't need to hear some comedy act from you two weirdos.
Who did it? Who killed Angie and Tenko?
Do not let your emotions hasten your judgment. There may be 2 killers.
So, our other culprit might not be one of us here.
What do you mean?
What?
The transfer student.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe our resurrected transfer student dragged Angie and Tenko into the grave.
That's not true, because if it was, then they'd be here on the class trial, because they have to be here.
Stop it! Stop making stuff up!
Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on.
Is it even possible for a revived corpse to be the culprit? Well, in the interest of being thorough, I should clear things up here. Okay.
This crime was committed by the recently deceased.
Yeah, the Necronomicon.
They came back to life and killed 2 of our classmates.
No! So, ritual did work?
Oh! Nope.
That's wrong!
No, that's wrong! No, you're full of shit.
I don't think Angie's ritual succeeded. According to the Necronomicon Monokuma showed us, you have to burn the Necronomicon in the ritual.
After preparing the effigy, burn this Necronomicon to ashes. Use caution. Be mindful of carbon monoxide poisoning. Sprinkle the ashes on the effigy and repeat the name of the deceased 3 times.
If Angie's ritual had succeeded, the book would have been gone.
It must have been killed before the ritual was complete, since the book was still intact.
Oh, now the sound is messing up.
Then, going to think Rantaro probably not culprit.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Well, duh. There's no way a dead person could resurrect.
I'm not even gonna.
Now hold on a second. I can't let that comment stand. Sure, everybody knows that you can't bring the dead back to life. But it's easy at the Ultimate Academy, as long as you use the Necronomicon.
What are you talking about? There's no way that's possible.
But it's true. I never lie about motives.
Daddy said so, so he can't be wrong. Raising the dead is totally possible.
I don't believe you.
Man, I can't believe you guys wasted such a perfectly good motive.
Can't we still use it? Isn't it still in Angie's room?
You should have let me use it to bring Monodum back to life.
Monodum is still alive, though.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't waste a resurrection on Monodum's corpse.
Monodum will remember that.
Oh? So resurrecting the dead was actually possible this whole time?
There's no way it's possible.
There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us.
Like he
Let's
always
hurry up and
does.
find out who the Blackened is.
If our transfer student isn't the culprit, then blame falls to one of us.
Who did it?
Step aside, Half Pint. I'll handle this. I don't know about Tenko, but I'm pretty fucking sure Kyo murdered Angie.
What? Why?
Don't play dumb with me, creep show. I already know what happened.
Okay.
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was found in Kyo's research lab.
True.
Which makes you, Kyo, automatically suspicious.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see.
So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo.
I did not care about some katana.
Just admit it, you shit-eating worm. You went to the classroom, broke in.
If the Kyo had the key or not, Angie still would have let him into her lab. No, she wouldn't have.
I was wrong!
I was wrong!
The culprit used a katana to kill Angie. And it was
Angie locked herself in the lab working on the ritual. She would not yeah, okay, well, I knew the right
Kyo's
one, I just
research
fired
lab.
at the wrong.
which makes you.
But anyone could have taken that katana, you see. So that rusty katana was the murder weapon. You were the only one who cared about that thing, Kyo. I did not care about some katana. Just admit it, you shit-eating worm!
You went to the classroom, broke in.
There we go.
That's wrong!
No, that's wrong! So apparently I looked it up, apparently... Hold on, I'll wait.
No, Kyo would not have been able to enter Angie's lab.
The reason it's called Danganronpa V3, the V apparently stands for victory. Don't know why though, but apparently it does.
Isn't that right, Tsumugi?
Yeah. Before Angie locked herself up in her research lab, she said she wasn't going to open up for anyone but student council members.
And Kyo is not a member. She wouldn't have opened the door for him.
Kyo couldn't have killed Angie even if he wanted to.
I had no desire to kill her in the first place.
So whoever killed Angie must have been one of the student council members, yeah?
Or Kokichi.
I was doing a bit to lead you to the right answer. Can't believe you actually got it.
Oh, how clever.
Gosh, going
You
to...
can just ignore her, Gonta.
The remaining student council members are Gonta, Kibo, Tsumugi, and Himiko.
Well, it can't be Himiko. She was besties with Angie.
What if it was... what's her name? Tenko who killed Angie, and then we have to figure out who killed Tenko.
I trust their friendship. You guys do too, right?
Right.
Yeah, of course.
Can we trust their friendship so readily?
Obviously. Let's believe in them.
That trims our list of suspects down to 3. Gonta, Tsumugi, and Kibo.
Yep. The culprit is one of those 3 people.
You mean one of those 2 people? Because a robot ate people, Jack!
Oof.
I will let that remark slide. Anyway, aren't these accusations just a tad too hasty?
What else? The culprit should confess already. Gonta, Kiboy, or Tsumugi? Well...
No, not Gonta. Gonta would never kill Angie.
Yeah, Gonta's a gentleman. You shouldn't suspect either of us.
Hey, stick up for me too.
Gonta definitely not hurt anyone. Torture Gonta if you don't believe.
Torture might be a bit too far, but Gonta and I aren't the culprits.
And I'm not the culprit either. Jeez.
Gonta not
We're
culprit.
not the culprits.
Uh-oh. Everyone's talking over each other. Okay. What do we got?
We must consider other possibilities. Surely there must be suspects
Gentlemen,
outside
not
the student
betray
council.
student council.
That's utterly impossible.
Last night.
A dead chick
Not just
can't be the
anyone could open
culprit!
the door.
Why?
Only student council members had it.
I heard it!
I heard it.
No, it wasn't just student council members that could have opened that lab door.
What was it you said earlier about Kyo opening the door, Shuichi? Unless you're a student council member, you can't enter Angie's lab, right?
I was referring to Kyo. He couldn't have done it, but you could have. Because I saw you open the classroom lock by picking it.
Kokichi pulled out some thin needles and stuck them into the keyhole of the lock. Click, click, click. Clack. There, open says me.
Oh, that happened? I totally forgot.
Is it just me, or without that scarf, would Kokichi kind of look like Taka from the first game?
So you
Just the
wanted to
outfit
pretend you
wise.
don't remember, huh?
Quit glaring at me like that. Of course I remember. Yeah, I did it. I killed Angie.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
I picked the lock to her lab, snuck into the room, and then wham! Killed Angie. The culprit was me, all along.
What?
What are you saying? Is this some kind of joke?
Nah, no joke. I thought that if I confessed, I could atone for my sins. It helped. I feel so much better. Whew!
Wait, so Kokichi really is culprit?
No, he's lying. I think. Maybe?
He's lying. I'm certain of it.
No, definitely not a lie. I killed Angie. Shouldn't you guys believe the culprit when they confess?
Then let me ask you, culprit. How did you lock the room?
Huh? Well, it's the same as opening it. You pick the door closed from the outside.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Huh? What doesn't make sense? Can't you lock a door by picking it?
Maybe, but that's not how the culprit locked the room. They used a different method.
What different method? Yeah, Mumbles. Use your big boy voice and explain yourself.
There were 2 doors to the classroom, and the one locked last was...
Back door.
That's it!
Since it has the gold dust on it.
The back door. That's how they made this a locked room mystery.
The back door had a sliding lock, yes? How was it locked from the outside?
The culprit used a certain tool.
What used to unlock it outside was... I don't know. They wouldn't use the katana, shut it, because the katana was still in there. Oh, whoops. Oops. What is this? No, they didn't. The sickle. Huh. I guess that makes sense. Nope, and it's gotta be something under this. Monokuma. Secret. Is this secret Monokuma? Oops. Yep, okay. Did they use the sheath? The sheath wouldn't fit though. They couldn't have used the sword because the sword was still locked in. What?
I see it! The gold leaf katana that was stabbed into Kaede's effigy. The culprit used that to hit the knob of the sliding lock to lock the door.
So the gold leaf was on the sliding lock
Because when the katana hit the lock, some of the gold leaf rubbed off on it. The gold leaf on that katana did peel rather easily.
That evidence rings a bell. Specifically, a skull
I am still
bell.
confused. Because if they left from the back door and they locked it from the outside using the katana, how was the katana still inside the freaking room?
Huh? Are you talking about a different school? What school was it?
Now, that doesn't matter anymore. Let's not dwell on the past.
Did he make a...
Ooh, the gold leaf landed on the sliding lock when the katana touched it. So that means the culprit used the katana to move the sliding lock, right? But wait, how did they move it with a katana? And from outside Angie's lab?
The clue that might give us the answer is the layout of the area itself. It was an odd setup after all. The katana stabbed into the effigy. The effigies hung upside down.
Angie didn't do that as part of the ritual?
No. Nowhere in the Necronomicon did it say you had to hang the effigies.
If it was not part of the ritual, then it must have been for a different purpose, right?
A different purpose? What could have that been? The culprit somehow used the setup to lock the room. In that case, we need to know the reason behind every step of that setup. If I do that, the way the culprit locked the room should be clear. Psych taxi, alright? know Shuichi was a legal taxi driver. Can I get some... There we go. What turned the hand of the sliding lock? The handle. Katana, right? Also, what's with the kiss? The kissing thing. I don't get that. Now we're in the desert. Oops, missed it. It's done to make the katana turn the lock. Lock was tampered. Oh! They stabbed it into Kaede's effigy and then swung the effigy side to side to get it to lock the door? Maybe? Sorry, girls. Duty call. How was the effigy manipulated to make the katana affect the lock? By swinging it, is what I think. Swinging it back and forth. What? Spinning it? What? Wouldn't swinging it back and forth make more sense?
That's it. The reason the culprit stuck the katana into the effigy was so that it would hit the sliding lock as the effigy spun.
Effigy spun?
That's right. If you spun the effigy, the rope it was hanging from would twist.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Then, if you let it go, the rope would unwind and the effigy would spin the other way. And of course, the katana would spin with it.
I see. So the culprit used the katana's counterspin to push the lock into place?
The culprit simply needed to spin the effigy's rope, and then swiftly leave. This would cause the spinning katana to hit the sliding lock. And thus was the back door of an empty classroom locked from the inside.
Yes, that's how Angie's lab was locked. By using the effigy with the katana.
A plan born from the heart of a sword, traveling through the air to intercept us.
Please stop making that face.
Oh, but could it have moved the slide lock so easily?
The sliding lock was pretty loose. Little push could move it. As long as the spinning katana hit the lock, it would have slid into position.
Even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked.
Which is why the culprit chose to strike at nighttime, as to avoid detection.
Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime.
Are you saying it's the student council's fault?
I didn't say that.
In any case, the culprit probably used the murder weapon for this trick. It had to have been the right length to hit the sliding lock from the effigy.
The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana.
The other effigies were only hung up so we think it was some kind of ceremony. That way, we wouldn't notice the lock trick.
Makes more sense.
But Kokichi did say earlier that he could have kept the lock closed. I don't want to completely ignore that possibility. But I can't imagine the culprit would have done all this just for a distraction.
If that's the case, then Kokichi's confession earlier was actually
a lie. What do you think?
Seriously? You fucking lied again?
Cough it up, Kokichi!
Oh, man. You guys got me. Okay, I'm not the culprit.
You sound so disappointed.
Telling the truth this time, right?
I want to say I'm lying, but I'm not.
Why did you say you were the culprit?
I wanted to lure the culprit out. If I claimed to be the culprit, then the real culprit would agree as well. You get me? And if they pressured me to confess, then that would have looked mighty suspicious. Sheesh. Darn it. It didn't go my way because Shuichi butted in on my plan.
You and your fucking lies! Go sit in the corner and play with yourself!
Okay, I'll start right now.
Alright, so who's the asshole who set up this locked room mystery?
Mew, I can't hold it up anymore.
What's the matter? You going soft on me now?
Who made the locked room mystery doesn't matter, since anyone could have done it. Don't you even understand something as basic as that, you filthy cum dumpster?
Hold on a second. That is amazing. Jesus Christ, the roast.
Cum dumpster! Finally! Someone finally called me a cum dumpster!
What? What did I... What? What? Oh my god.
What should we talk about now?
Oh my god. Okay. Sorry.
We must focus not on the locked room, but on who entered Angie's lab.
That's great.
Only one of the student council members or Kokichi could have gained entry. Therefore, the culprit must be among their number.
That leaves us with 4 suspects. Tsumugi, Gonta, Kibo, and Kokichi.
Don't forget Himiko. She's also a part of the student council. Doesn't matter if she was besties with Angie, she's still a suspect.
That contradicts what you said earlier, which I can prove using my recording function.
It's fine. That's just a waste of time.
Me? A suspect? Never kill Angie!
So, calling all suspects, what should we discuss next? I want to hear everyone's opinion. What would you say to get yourself off the suspect list?
Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're
Also,
a suspect too.
What is this? There's supposed to be X's too? For a 2. His is just like those standard X's.
Silence, outsider. Only the suspect rangers are allowed to speak.
suspect, Rangers?
I agree. Those under suspicion should explain themselves thoroughly.
We might catch them with their pants down.
Anyway, I want to ask the suspect, Rangers.
Is this supposed to be like Power Rangers?
What should we say to get ourselves off the suspect list? Well, guys, I want to hear what you think.
That's sort of a difficult question, you know?
Gonta not smart enough to know answer to that.
Yes, it is difficult to formulate a logical response to that question.
Not articulate with words, huh? Don't you guys want to prove your innocence?
They don't trust you one bit, and I don't blame them. You're probably plotting.
Why did Tenko have to die?
Huh?
I want to know what happened to Angie too, but can we talk about Tenko's case now and not just Angie's?
I got you exactly where I wanted, Himiko.
What do you mean?
The two victims could have been killed by two separate murderers, you know. So we need to find the first Blackened responsible for the first victim. We've got to figure out who killed Angie. Until we solve Angie's case, Tenko's case is meaningless. Did you suggest that to waste our time?
It's not meaningless!
Himiko?
Tenko's death was meaningless? How dare you!
She's using her emotions.
Poor Tenko! How could you do this to her? Himiko...
Himiko, stop it with your crappy lies.
Lies?
Everything you said is total BS. You didn't give two shits about Tenko when she was alive. But now you're like, oh no, poor Tenko, after she's dead. Come on, really?
Kokichi, enough!
No. It's okay. It's no surprise he'd think that. I know I ignored Tenko before, but that's why I'm so upset now. I should have faced Tenko, worked things out with her while she was still alive. But now, it's too late. I can't complain to her or thank her. It's too late.
Yeah, seriously. It's way too late to realize that now. Our only option is to face her death head on.
Face her death?
Himiko, I understand what you're going through. So I'm gonna help you out. Let's work together to find the truth. I'm not gonna let anyone say her death didn't matter.
Kaito. Alright. I'll put a silencing curse on whoever calls Tenko's death meaningless. The name of the curse is... Death Curse! I suppose we settled someone pretty good.
Listen up! All you guys are gonna help out too. Abandoning someone who died and only thinking about your own survival. That's just as bad as a hit and run! I won't forgive something so messed up!
Tenko was our friend. Gonta want to know why she died too.
I already told you that's so unnecessary. We're getting sidetracked here.
No, even if it was a different culprit, we need to know how Tenko died. If we don't find out who killed her, we won't be able to work together. Not now, not ever. Even if this trial isn't for her, in order for us to survive, we need to get to the bottom of Tenko's death. Not just to survive this trial, but so we can keep going and live on!
Kaito.
Finally, you noticed. Jeez, you're so slow.
Huh? Did Kokichi want us to notice?
Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet.
Let us talk about Tenko's case then. Perhaps that will provide us a clue.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not wrong, but I don't mind going over Tenko's case. But that was an abrupt change of topic. Was that intentional?
So what do we talk about first?
For now, let's see if we can narrow down the list of suspects.
Tancrouch probably got killed during the seance, so everyone there's suspicious.
The people who attended the seance. Kyo, Shuichi, Himiko, Kokichi. Yeah.
That's it! It's me, Kyo, Hiko, and Koki.
So those four are the culprits!
Oh, Himiko's still culprit?
Well, that's probably just a coinkydink. The most suspicious out of the four is really Kyo. He suggested the whole seance idea.
True, I may have suggested it, but I explained the procedure beforehand, yes? If we all knew of it before the murder, then we are all equally suspicious.
Well, I suppose, but...
In addition, the seance wasn't entirely in my control either. I was not the one who selected the room we performed it in. It was Himiko.
True that. However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use? The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this. Very well. I shall begin the preparations at once.
Oh, right.
Also, we should not limit our suspects to those who participated in the seance. The empty room had a point of entry from outside, see?
Point of entry from outside. He must be referring to...
There!
There.
You're talking about under the floor, right?
It's me, Solid Snake.
Huh? Under the floor?
Yes, there's a crawl space under the floor a person could move through. There was also a hole that connected it to the neighboring room.
If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room.
If we consider that possibility, then there is another suspect.
Another suspect? Who?
It's appearing before me.
He's gonna say Angie, isn't he?
Oh, I can see it clearly. The true identity of Tenko's killer.
Okay.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance
That's what I think.
by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second.
It's true that with a little light, you can move around under the floor. Is that possible?
The culprit sneaked in during the seance.
The loose floorboard right below Tenko, it was not loose before the seance. There was dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard.
Seance by crawling under the floor.
In order to perform the cage child, you need no light.
Floor.
I'm gonna
But it was
go with
pitch
this one.
black during the seance.
What does this one say? One room is corner of the room is held in. There's space under the floor so you can see what was dropped in.
How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
The room as dark as it was, no one would need a light now. Arguing the entire theory.
Oh no!
I was thinking because his light lit up the entire room, so I figured we'd be able to see it through the floorboards.
Like
There's a function that Miu added to Kibo. He can emit a blinding light from his eyes.
crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor.
Sure, it's cramped under the floor, but there's enough room for one person to move around. Especially if they keep us flashlight.
I was wrong!
The culprit sneaked
During the seance.
by
Crawling under the floor.
There we go.
because it wasn't dark. You our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, it was flashlight function.
Now, hold on a second.
Under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said, hold on a second.
He used robot functions.
Hold on a second.
One light you could move under the floor. Is that possible?
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Right below Tenko is not much before the seance. There is dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard. On the ground, the spirit medium must place their forehead on a stone turtles. They must do this at the center of the circle. After rations.
Because it wasn't dark under.
Hold on. There's a space under the floor so you can see what was dropped there.
The floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight.
Dry blood at the bottom part of the floorboard.
Function.
Huh? Now, hold on a second.
Guess let's just fire at everything.
Get under the floor.
I said, hold on a second.
He used his
Robot functions to commit the
murders.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by
Crawling under the floor. But it was pitch black in the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
because it wasn't dark.
Under the floor.
You see,
Oh,
villain had a light.
It was dark as it was.
Oh no! The culprit sneaked in during
The seance. Crawling under the floor. But it was pitch black in the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor? Because it wasn't dark under the floor.
You
See, our villain
had
had
a light.
Light? You mean
candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that to get under the floor.
She was cramped on the floor, but there's no space for her.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by
Do I
crawling
need to lie?
under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor.
Not just before the seance. There was dried blood on the bottom part of the floorboard.
You see, our villain had a light.
light? You mean candle?
I mean,
Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh?
Now hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor.
We fired at that. Especially they keep this flashlight.
Oh no!
the culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
But it was pitch black during the seance. How could they even see if they were under the floor?
Because it wasn't dark under the floor. You see, our villain had a light.
Light? You mean candle?
I mean, Kibo's flashlight function.
Huh? Now, hold on a second.
Kibo could have used that function to get under the floor and sneak into the empty room during the seance.
I said hold on a second.
He used his robot functions to commit the murders.
Hold on a second!
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
Oh, we ran out of
It
time.
wasn't dark under the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to retry.
The culprit sneaked in during the seance by crawling under the floor.
Firing random.
Had a light.
Oh, okay, cool. Next one I do.
I don't think the culprit could have used a light while under the floor. There was a hole in the corner of the room. If a light were used, it would have leaked through and we would have seen it.
But when we did the seance, the room was definitely pitch black.
So a light was not shined under the floor, which means you cannot claim I am the culprit.
Jeez, here I thought this would be the case where the murder could only be done by a robot.
You have accused me of being the culprit more than once now, simply because I am a robot. My status as a robot does not mean I am capable of performing superhuman feats. My vision is somewhat poor, and I only possess average physical strength and intelligence.
All right, you made your point. God, now I feel sort of bad for you.
I neither want nor need your pity.
Enough with the flashlight! It's way too bright!
It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch-black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case.
Then why was floorboard under Tenko lined up funny? Going to think that was so culprit could stab Tenko from underfloor.
Ooh, nice observation, Gonta. Are you finally getting used to the class trials?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Don't say it like that. You're better off not being used to this kind of stuff.
Maybe they marked Tenko with glowing paint and looked for that. That'd let the culprit find her. Then they could stab her through the floorboards.
Boy, that sounds really familiar too. But I'm just gonna ignore it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's why I went, I was like that's what happened in the first trial of the second game.
Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint.
Oh, yeah. So then, why was that floorboard loose?
The loose floorboard was the one under Tenko, right? If the culprit used it while she was still alive, she'd totally notice.
Who fucking cares? Fussing over that won't get us closer to the culprit!
We shouldn't dismiss this line of inquiry, however. Instead of butting our heads against this, how about we concentrate on another issue?
What other issue?
Perhaps first, we should figure out how and when exactly Tenko was killed.
When? So not during seance?
Tenko was in the metal cage for the whole seance, wasn't she? How could someone have gotten to her there?
Maybe the culprit killed her before she went under the metal cage.
No, not
That's
possible.
not possible. She was alive at that point.
This is the point of no return, Tenko. After this point, you mustn't speak. The next time you open your mouth, it will be Angie speaking through you. Understood. I will not say a word until the seance is over.
Yes. She was unmistakably
I
alive
forgot.
when the
They still
seance
speak.
began.
That was right before we blew out the candles. But when the light came back...
The floorboard was removed at that point, so it's likely she was already dead then.
So she was killed when the room was dark?
But she was inside Cage, right? Going to think it impossible to kill her then.
And she was killed when the room was dark. It was a different time.
A different time?
How the fuck should I know? You figure it out, shitheads. Huh? Since Gonta said it was impossible, I'm proposing an alternate theory. Now hurry up and think! If you want to make my golden brain tingle, start circle jerking your lip-tick brains! When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Oh my!
What is happening?
So who lifted the cage?
It was me.
Then obviously Himiko is the culprit!
No, did it down!
Tenko not being killed during the seance? That might not be impossible, but there's no evidence for it.
When Tenko got killed,
The stone that was by Tenko's body during the seance. Tenko had been crushed over the iron cage with the forehead on the stone. Iron cage that Tenko was in during the seance. It is around 3 feet high and 5 feet wide. Junichi and Kokichi placed this over Tenko and Himiko removed it. Tenko's blood was on the bottom of the cage. The wooden statue that was put top of the iron cage during the seance. It weighs about 175 pounds. Shuichi, Kokichi, Kyo, and Himiko worked together to put it up and remove from the cage. The sheet over the iron cage during the seance. It is very thick and cannot be seen through. There is blood on the back around the middle of the sheet, but there is no hole in the fabric. Kyo was the one who placed the sheet over the cage and removed it off the cage.
it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time, and she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What about moment Cage was lifted?
Like that.
When Cage lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
There's no
God, why?
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time.
And she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What moment Cage was lifted?
But going to think that only possible if she was killed after seance. Must you know reason why not true? Why that not true, Shuichi?
Oh no!
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time. And she was dead.
What? Rip.
What about moment Cage was lifted? When Cage was lifted, culprit stabbed Tenko real fast. So fast, no one saw.
Stop.
When Tenko got killed, it
wasn't during the seance. It could not have been done at any
Any other time. She was under the whole time.
Spildomino mustn't move during the seance. Tenko was definitely following the direction she did not leave the cage.
When Tenko got killed, it wasn't during the seance.
It could not have been done at any other time. She was under the cage the whole time, and she was dead when the cage was lifted.
What moment cage was lifted?
Got it.
That's wrong!
Because there's blood on the back of it.
No, it wasn't possible to kill her the moment the cage was lifted. Because the inside of the white cloth had Tenko's blood on it. That cloth was removed before the cage was lifted. If Tenko was stepped in, there wouldn't be blood on the cloth.
What? But how could my golden brain be wrong when it felt so right?
The only possibility is that Tenko was killed during the seance.
I got your model right here!
Why are you so mean?
No, it's still wrong to think that Tenko was killed during the seance.
Hey, I lined it up a little bit. Nope, it's still bad.
What?
I'm gonna prove it right now. My golden brain is gonna go all out!
Where's your evidence? What do I got?
Tenko died after the seance. It happened when the sheet was lifted. That was the moment the culprit chose to stab the fuck out of Tenko through the cage. They stuck the thin blade through the gaps of the cage, and that clean white sheet got stained blood red!
But the weapon was a sickle. Only the blade could have fit through the gaps.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed. She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is the... And that's none other than Kyo!
There has to be a hole in Mew's logic somewhere.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
Ooh.
She wasn't that far from the cage's gaps. In which case, the person who lifted the sheet is... And that's none other than Kyo!
Oh, now where to fire.
The blade's all you need. If you stick the blade through a gap in the cage, it'd be long enough to reach Tenko, sitting in there with her neck all exposed.
I'll cut through your words.
I'll cut you.
Wait just a minute. Tenko wasn't sitting down inside the cage. She was bent over with her forehead against the marker stone, and the cage itself was about 3 feet tall. The sickle's blade was too short to reach Tenko while she was in that position.
Then I messed up again? How could this happen? I am so embarrassed.
You should be.
No worries, Mew. Everyone already knows you're an embarrassment to the human race.
Yeah, no worries.
How embarrassing!
If
No
Shuichi
worries.
is right, then it's impossible for Tenko to have been killed through the cage.
She couldn't have been killed during the seance since she was in the cage, right?
If she was killed then, the cloth over the cage would have been pierced.
Not during the seance or from below the floor. Then it's impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, for a living person.
Huh?
What if Angie's spirit killed Tenko?
What are you talking about? That's not possible!
We don't know that. Some things are impossible for a human, but not for a spirit.
Don't say stupid stuff like that! Screw spirits!
Stop that now.
Angie's spirit killed Tenko? Why?
Himiko?
Why would Angie's spirit kill Tenko?
What if Tenko killed Angie, and then Angie's spirit came back for revenge?
Like I said, that's impossible! Spirits can't be culprits!
Then explain how the culprit killed Tenko under these impossible circumstances.
Well,
See? You can't explain, can you? Only a spirit could have done that!
wait! I know! What if the culprit was hiding inside the cage?
What?
If they were in there, they could have stabbed Tenko during the seance.
No. If there was someone else in the cage, we would have
I agree
noticed.
with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage.
Did Tenko kill herself? You do?
Nonsense. There was no space in the cage for the culprit to hide.
Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place.
What?
Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right?
The they she's referring to. I'm gonna find her. There she is.
I believe Maki is referring to Tenko herself.
What did you say? Are you saying Tenko was the culprit?
She committed suicide.
Suicide?
If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage, and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was.
But the sickle she was stabbed with was under the floor, right? If Tenko had stabbed herself, wouldn't the sickle still be inside the cage?
Oh my god. You actually said something smart.
Oh my god.
Perhaps that explains why the floorboard was removed. After stabbing herself with the sickle, she threw it underneath the floor.
So she took off the floorboard to get rid of the sickle?
And what was with the dried blood?
Yes, that makes sense to Gonta.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason for Tenko to commit suicide.
Maybe I wasn't too far off with the theory I had earlier. You know, about Tenko killing Angie.
Yeah?
Because Tenko and Angie were fighting for your attention, right?
Hey Angie, when did you brainwash Himiko?
Tenko's pent-up frustration led her to commit such an atrocity. Her conscience couldn't handle it anymore, so she decided to end her own life.
What?
But if she was gonna kill herself, why do it during the seance?
She wanted to hide the truth of her suicide.
Really? Why?
There could only be one reason to hide it in a killing game, right? It's to take us down with her.
Take us down?
She wanted us to pick the wrong answer during the class trial, so she could bring us all down. She wanted us to die with her. Okay, well, she probably just wanted Himiko to die with her, but still.
What are you saying? Tenko wasn't like that. She told me.
Keep your chin up and live life, facing forward. Survive with me and everyone else.
What if all of that was just a lie?
Lie?
Wait, we should believe Tenko's last words.
The true terror of class trials is that you shouldn't believe everything said.
Himiko, you said that Tenko would never do anything like that. But how can you be so sure? Did you guys actually know each other? People keep all sorts of secrets. Like Maki. She hid the fact that she's a cold-blooded killer. Is it wise of us to trust other people wholeheartedly in this kind of situation?
Jeez, you're such a naive dude.
Naive?
We're all just people, you know? Of course we're gonna have some secrets. What matters is whether there's any malice behind them.
People can lie about how malicious their hidden secrets really are.
Well, duh. It's impossible to know for sure what others are thinking. That's why it all comes down to whether or not you believe in yourself. If you get betrayed, it's not their fault. It's your fault for believing in them. That's why I believed in Maki Roll. I wanted to believe in her.
Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you just get training.
Hey, come on. Don't you think you're being a little too strict?
Well, we come from different backgrounds. So for now, let's agree to disagree. No one's ever called me naive before. And from Kaito? Seriously?
Whether or not I believe, my heart can't reach Tenko anymore. But I want to believe in her.
Speak louder, gosh dang it. I can barely hear you.
She wouldn't commit suicide. She wouldn't try to take us down. That's what I want to believe.
Thank you. That's how you should speak.
Me too. Gonta no can believe Tenko commits suicide.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions.
If you insist we believe in Tenko, then provide a reason to do so.
A proper reason.
All right, I'll give you a reason.
Is there a reason?
Yes, there is. Will you trust me, Maki? If it turns out I'm wrong, you can blame me all you like. But for now, I need you to trust in my detective work.
I don't believe Tenko would kill herself because of what she said. Okay, everyone, I'll see you guys after the seance. She said, see you guys after. I doubt she had a sudden change of heart. Just because we don't know how she was killed doesn't mean that it was a suicide. We shouldn't be satisfied with that, and if we keep thinking, we'll find the truth. And so we have to believe in Tenko. We'll make them all believe.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan is to take us down with her.
Tenko died in crouched position. The injury on the back of her neck was deep, but probably not enough to kill her immediately.
So she hid her true intention.
In order to perform the caged child, you need 5 people, including the spirit medium, and a dark place within the light. First, draw the magic circle passed down from the caged dog village on the ground. Then the spirit medium must place their forehead on the stone and curl up like a turtle. They must do this at the center of the circle. After, the other 4 must make the following preparations. Place the iron cage over the spirit medium, and then cover that cage with a white cloth. Finally, place the dog god on top of the cage. Take care not to step on the magic circle during the preparations. Finally, turn off all the lights to make it completely dark, and your preparations will be complete. The seance will commence once all 4 participants stand at the corners of the room. 4 participants, not including the spirit medium, will sing the caged child song. After the song asks, "Is the caged child?" then say the name of the spirit. The spirit medium will reply with the voice of the spirit you have summoned.
Tenko's not that kind of person!
Victim is the ultimate artist, Angie. The second victim is the ultimate Aikido master, Tenko. The victim's body was discovered in the vacant room on the 4th floor. Estimated time of death is 11 a.m. Oops. The victim was stabbed in the back of her neck, resulting in death. No other injuries were detected.
But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
Okay, let's just listen.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Everyone thinks that Tenko committed suicide, but only because they're latching onto the easiest answer. To get out of this, I need to make them think their suicide theory wouldn't work.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true...
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength.
Nope. She would have been able to throw it away in time, no? That is, I suppose, unless her death was instant.
Damn it!
Okay.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Did I fire the wrong one? I think I might have fired the wrong one.
The last of her strength.
Okay.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
Nope. Is that evidence, or are you letting your emotions get the best of you?
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
In a hole in the corner of the room, the sands was held, and there's a space under the floor so you can see what was dropped there.
So she hid her true intentions.
Tenko's not that kind of person! But if Tenko did commit suicide, it would explain how she died during the seance.
She could have secretly brought the sickle and then stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last of her strength, she threw the sickle underneath the floor. All the pieces fit.
Because they're watching that easy answer.
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her. So she hid her true intentions.
The last of her strength.
What the heck? Do I need to lie?
Oh no!
So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation.
Her plan was to take us down with her.
And stabbed herself with it.
Finally, with the last.
I'll reveal the truth.
This is what actually happened.
Tenko couldn't have thrown the sickle under the floor because she died instantly.
Instantly?
I mean, yeah, instantly. She bled out.
I'm certain of it. My investigation determined that she died instantly.
What's your opinion, Maki? I'd like to hear from someone who specializes in murder.
Maki.
You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly.
What?
As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately.
Yeah, believe her. Sorry, I had to do something.
Words of a true killer. Pretty sure we can believe.
Okay. Thank you, Maki.
How could you forget that, Maki roll? You better apologize to Shuichi.
Excuse me?
It's okay, Kaito, really. No apology necessary. Anyway, Tenko died so suddenly that she couldn't have gotten rid of the sickle. Knowing that, the theory that she killed herself just doesn't fit, correct?
Just like I thought. Tenko wouldn't commit suicide.
Thank goodness, Himiko.
Which means someone definitely killed Tenko during the seance.
Her suicide was considered because we could not determine how she was killed.
No! There must have been a way! We're gonna figure it out!
Did any of the participants witness anything peculiar during the seance? If you know something, please speak up. It could be the key to solving this mystery.
There was a loud noise. Not a bad idea. We should remember what happened at the seance. Let me try to remember. I'm sure there's something. Some kind of clue that will help me solve this mystery. Hangman's Gambit? Is that what we're doing? Nope, still not the...
Did anything seem out of the ordinary during the seance?
There is something that bothers me. The fact that the seance failed. The ritual was perfect, and yet it failed. How utterly strange.
Now that I think about it, while we were all singing the song, I heard something fall.
I agree with that.
I agree.
So it didn't go perfectly. Natsu.
Kimiko, you think that something fell because of that sound you heard, right?
Sounded pretty intense.
It sounded like something heavy fell down and hit the floor really hard. What could have fallen down?
Fallen down? There wasn't anything on the ceiling that could have fallen down, right?
Am I wrong? I thought something fell, but
The sound was pretty loud. It did seem like something hit the floorboards.
A loud sound, like something hitting the floorboards. Maybe that sound has something to do with the other thing that happened in the dark. Other thing? What other thing happened during the seance? What caused the sound that was heard during the seance? This? That has nothing to see. Nobody's gonna believe you anymore if you say random things. You don't get to say that.
Damn it!
I don't know. Neighboring room. From where the seance was held, he had stepped through one of the floorboards that head out portion. What caused the sound that was heard during the seance? Sickle? Sickle hitting the floor. Is that what made such a loud sound? It must have been heavier.
Oh no!
Could it have been the dog? Maybe the statue is. It would be pretty loud if it dropped, but it was still in the cage after the seance.
Oh no!
I don't know.
This is it!
Okay.
I think the floorboard coming off had something to do with that sound. That floorboard came loose at some point during the seance, right?
But it wouldn't have made such a loud noise though, right?
could the floorboard have made such a loud sound though?
It was the sound of an intense impact.
If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard.
Okay. That is true. There would have had to been a strong impact to make that sound. What was it? What could it possibly be?
Alright then, let's go with that. We all gotta put our heads together now. So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone who participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already said there was none under the floor.
Must have stomped through the floorboard.
A floorboard that comes when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Don't be stupid. Don't you know me and Balls are the best of friends?
I agree with that. What would have made such a strong enough impact to knock the floorboard loose? Think about everyone's testimony and combine it with the facts.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Magic circle was drawn with salt. It was drawn on the floor in the room where the seance was held. After Tenko's body was found, magic circle was trampled on. That made it impossible to check the original shape.
Judging.
One of the cross pieces that supports the loose floorboard. Oh!
And from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone participated in this. Maybe that board.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stepped through the floorboard.
A floorboard that comes loose when you step on it is dangerous. God, it's like I'm the only one here who's staying on the ball.
You hardly have any experience with balls to say that, Mew.
Spider was found in the seance. It's quite far from where Tenko's body was dripping.
Don't be stupid.
Okay.
Made the
I guess I'll...
There's been considerable force.
Someone who participated.
I'm gonna go with what Gonta says first.
That wouldn't make such
Wooden.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
If the culprit hit their head on that tough floor, they would be dead.
Oh no!
Stay gonna get over again.
So what made the floorboard come loose?
Judging from the sound, there must have been considerable force.
Someone participated in the seance. Maybe that person tore off the floorboard.
That wouldn't make such a loud crashing sound.
Maybe the wooden statue fell over.
But that statue was still on top of the cage.
Culprit hide under floor. Then stood up with such might.
But we already said there was no one under the floor.
Someone must have stomped through the floorboard.
Oh,
I agree.
never thought I'd agree with Kokichi.
Kokichi is right. The floorboard came loose because someone stomped on it.
But floorboards fit perfect. Going to make sure first time we go to empty room.
When we first saw the room, yes. But when I looked again during the investigation, one of the cross pieces supporting the floorboards was cut off. After examining the cut, I concluded that it must have been done deliberately.
Someone? You mean the culprit, right? Why'd they do that?
What did the culprit stand to gain by cutting the cross piece?
To get to Tenko? If that's the case, I need to think carefully about the crosspiece in the floorboard. Tenko's body was at one end of the loose floorboard, and the crosspiece had been cut. Was on the other end. The unsupported part was outside the cage, so it could have been stomped on. Only one of the cross pieces was cut, and the other two were intact. One of them was right under Tenko. The other was in the center, right about where the edge of the cage was. What was the culprit attempting to achieve by stomping on the floorboard? Come on, think. Hangman's Gambit, let's go. S. Okay. Okay. Nope. No, I'm not dumping you. F. Oh no, another E? Seeing? No. It's not another. Is it W? S? Cess? I don't know. A? Seesaw. And I'm guessing seesaw. Nope, okay.
We can't let it end here.
So seesaw. Nope. Seesaw. E. F. Seesaw effect. Let's go with it. Seesaw effect. I was like, Sessa? And I was like, what? No, seesaw.
That's right. The floorboard might have been used as a seesaw.
Huh? A seesaw?
The crosspiece at one end of the floorboard had been cut off. The other two crosspieces holding up that board were close to the cage. Meaning, if you were to apply force to the end of the floorboard with no crosspiece, the next crosspiece would act as a fulcrum to turn the floorboard into a lever. A lever capable of lifting up Tenko's entire body.
But why?
Her whole body lifted up?
Yeah, that sounds like a seesaw, all right. But why bother lifting Tenko's body?
They couldn't have killed Tenko like that. Unless they used the sickle.
That's exactly it. Using the seesaw trick, it was possible to kill Tenko with a sickle.
It was Kyo. Oh. Because he could have hid the sickle under the sheet. And then when seesawing her, it would bounce her up into the sickle.
Huh? How?
And then he also removed it, so...
Tenko with a seesaw trick. The placement of the sickle is the most important factor.
Floorboard seesaw, the cage, and the blood on the white fabric. What conclusion can I draw from this? There's only one place the sickle could have been that is consistent with the evidence.
That's it!
Yeah.
The sickle was at the top of the iron cage, with the blade facing down. the reason we didn't see it was because of the fabric covering the cage. Also, the wooden statue kept the blade in place. It's true that the sickle's handle was thick, which made the statue wobble, but the statue's weight kept it from falling over. Once everything was in place, if you stepped hard enough on the seesaw, Tenko's body would have shot upward and hit the blade on the top of the cage. She was bent over, meaning the sickle's blade would have connected with her neck.
The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouch position. But with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, they could compensate for the blade's length.
Bringing the victim to the sickle, rather than bringing the sickle to the victim.
Yep. Sorry, I had to
That's
yawn.
definitely an unorthodox idea.
It's crazy, but it would explain how Tenko got stabbed while she was in the cage.
So the sound we heard was the culprit stomping on the floorboard.
That impact make floorboard come loose.
Looks like we got ourselves a good old-fashioned seesaw homicide. Wait, what the hell's a seesaw homicide? That's fucking crazy!
That's what I'm wondering.
Craziness is what really makes the killing game fun, you know? They can't get away with murder the normal way, so they gotta think outside the box. Kudos, culprit! You did a great job keeping me entertained.
Indeed. Well played, Himiko.
Yeah?
It was you, wasn't it?
Oh,
The one behind the seesaw homicide.
sorry. Okay.
Why her?
Because she's the only one capable of carrying out this plan.
The only one? Why's that?
Because this seesaw homicide required its location to be prepared beforehand.
By cutting the crosspiece beneath the floorboard, you mean?
Then the culprit would need to lure their victim into the prepared room. That is why you chose that room for the seance. Is it not, Himiko?
However, there are 3 empty rooms. Which one shall we use? The middle room. The middle room's always best for stuff like this.
Oh yeah! Himiko was the one who chose the site for the seance!
She likely found out about my plans for the seance somehow.
You were quite vocal about the seance, Kyo. You even had instructions for it in your lab.
Our culprit, Himiko, prepared her seesaw trap ahead of time. Then she waited for me to host the seance, and suggested the middle room. She led us all into holding the seance right where she wanted it. Then, she killed Tenko, all according to plan.
That's a lie, right? Himiko did such a thing?
In the end, Himiko, who Tenko cherished and loved, tragically killed her.
Wait! We don't know that, right? He's wrong, right, Himiko? Himiko would never kill Tenko, right?
Kill Tenko? I killed Tenko?
Himiko?
What's wrong, Himiko?
It is true that using the middle room was Himiko's idea. But does that mean that Himiko really killed Tenko? Was something like that really happen? Something so cruel? It's time for intermission, isn't it? Why? I hate intermission. I will save.
Well now.
Looks like we've reached the intermission segment, which means it's time for our Guess the Victim quiz. A victim quiz, not the culprit quiz? The only victims are the people who are still watching this drawn-out, boring crap. Why are you being such a downer all of a sudden?
It's okay.
I'm sure everyone is happy. How do you know? They could be skipping this entire conversation for all you know. I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I'm the real victim here. Me. Why are you getting upset? If anything, I'm the real victim. I gotta put up with all this nonsense all the time. That's the right answer, Monodam. Why? He didn't even say anything. Exactly, because there are no victims. Yep, even if you're killed in this killing game, you're a winner. Because then everyone mourns you, and then you get tons of posthumous popularity. What? Daddy! Oh, Daddy, you don't need to reveal these kind of behind-the-scenes details.
All right.
Dying makes you more popular. Then we gotta die soon, too.
This is my impression of a spooky, scary ghost.
I'm fine with real ghosts, but impressions of them are too scary!
Logic does not compute.
Did you hear something?
No, I didn't hear anything.
You know what else is scary? Sweet buns. Yep, tasty, tasty sweet buns. So round, so sweet, so delicious.
That doesn't sound scary at all.
I'm scared too. Scared of losing my friends.
Did you hear something?
No,
Y'all both are gonna
I didn't
die.
hear any.
Okay, I'm gonna end this stream here, and then I'm gonna directly start another one just for like uploading to YouTube's sake, because the stream is already very long, and I don't want it to go on longer because uploading it to YouTube would take longer. So I'm gonna end this here. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the stream right after this one. So yeah.